Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about just like an overall cancer update and how life has changed for me, how I've settled back into some of the old routines, and kind of learning how to be a person on the other side of battling cancer. So one of the biggest changes is every day I feel pretty healthy. When you're going through chemo and you're just going through the cancer process in general, you feel gross and you feel the actual effects of the medications that you're on, or just being tired of going to the hospital all the time for all of the appointments. Because of coronavirus, I haven't had an in-person update or an in-person appointment since I was released from the hospital. I was released from the hospital mid-February. Corona broke out in March. So I had a few appointments the first 30 days of being released from the hospital. I would go in 3 times a week at OHSU, and they would check vitals and make sure everything was managing fine from home and that I was still progressing beautifully, and I was. Thankfully, I never had any hiccups, no fevers. I didn't have to get readmitted into the hospital. I was fine, I was stable. So now, because of Corona, I haven't been in. I've had 1 port flush in the last, 5-6 months, which can be scary. I went in a couple of weeks ago to get another port flush, so I guess I've had 2. To get another port flush, and when I went in for that one, I was kind of concerned if it would even be open, because they say that you need it to be flushed every 2 weeks. So yeah, that was scary. Everything's good in that department as well. So physically, I feel good. One of the other things that I try to look for when I was going into getting a stem cell transplant that I couldn't find much information about was my fertility. I am a young woman. I am planning on getting married and having kids and having a home and all of those things, and I was scared if that would be taken away from me. So I don't have a complete update about that. Obviously, I'm not pregnant. I haven't gave birth to a child since then. I don't know truly what's going on with my fertility, but I do know that my period resumed. It was 4 or 5 months after my transplant. So when I was in the hospital, they stopped my period with a medication. They gave me a shot in my stomach, which caused my period to stop. It's to protect my body and to protect my reproductive system, and it worked. My period came back about 4 or 5 months after, but during those 4 or 5 months without my period, I was hormonal. I was going through menopause, and menopausal symptoms. I had night sweats. I just felt off. Once my period came back, all of those side effects went away. I started to feel more like myself. I was able to regulate my weight gain. And that was a huge thing, is that I would gain weight and then I'd lose weight, and then I'd gain weight and then I'd lose weight. After I started my period and my hormonal cycle kind of normalized, I stayed kind of even with my weight. I would gain a pound every once in a while and it would stay, which was important because you lose weight going through the transplant, or at least I did. I lost weight because I was so nauseated towards the end. I didn't eat. I survived only off chocolate milk, which is not healthy, but it's the way I was able to get through being in the hospital. So now I have a little bit of normalcy when it comes to my weight. I don't fluctuate heavily anymore. I have no steroid bloating anymore. All of my taste buds finally went back to normal around month 3. That was one of the lasting side effects that was hard for me. I couldn't eat a lot until my side effects went, till I could taste things normally again. My mouth was very dry afterwards. I remember my lips peeling a lot. All of that has went away. Let's see, what else is an update? After transplant and after my period came back, my period was not as heinous as I thought it would be. I thought it would be probably one of the worst periods of my life because everything was kicking back in. I would have a lot of dead tissues to shed, and that was not the case. I think that my body pretty much was halted very well when I was in the hospital, and months after that, my body was slowly waking up. And I had a pretty normal period. The cramps weren't crazy. I was obviously scared of that because it had been so long. And there was no research done or no information about what that period would be like. And I was scared. So hopefully it's as rainbows and sunshines as it was for me, for you. Let's see, what else is kind of new on the update things. I decided not to do any maintenance. I was supposed to do a maintenance chemo every 3 weeks for the next year of my life, and because of coronavirus and the state of the world, I did not feel comfortable going to the hospital once a month to do any kind of chemo. I didn't feel comfortable damaging my body like that anymore. I wanted to just progressively get stronger. I wanted to progressively allow my body to have the best defenses against this virus if I happen to get it. Luckily, I have not yet. Nobody in my life or my family or my friends has gotten coronavirus, so I'm super thankful for that. But that played a huge part in my recovery. Because I'm not doing maintenance, I truly believe I feel this good because of that. If I was doing maintenance, yes, it would help my odds and my chances with the cancer not coming back, or me being able to live longer, and all of these other things that are important. But I think it's also important to make use of the time that you know you have, which I know I have today. And with the virus, I couldn't make proper use of weakening my body all of the time. So that's where I'm at. Another update is my original plan was to go back to work. I'm a hairstylist. Was to go back to work at the end of March. No, sorry, right. What was it? Oh, yes, the end of April. The end of April. Yeah, the end of April, I was supposed to go back to work, and I was going to start slowly, and everything was fine. But then, because of coronavirus, I could not go back to work. My doctor would not release me for work. I work heavily with the public. Also, I work in close proximities to my peers that are there, and it just didn't make sense to where I was at in the recovery. It also didn't make sense with the virus being out. So I have yet to return back to work. It is September, the beginning of September, and the virus is still a huge threat here in Oregon. The area that I work is not doing well because of the heavy smoke with the fires that are here in Oregon, so I've yet to go back to work. I'm really sad about that. I love working. It's one of my favorite things to do, is to sit down and be constructive or to make someone feel good about themselves, and I haven't had that feed. I haven't had the time away from the house. I haven't had obviously the extra income or any of the things that I truly need out of working, not only creatively but sustainably. So that has been hard for my emotional and mental recovery. I've had days where I feel completely useless because I'm just home all day. I can't do anything. I will be able to go grocery shopping or fill up the car, hang out with the dogs, cook dinner, keep the house clean. That's all. Like, I haven't been able to really do anything constructive, and that's been hard. I'm hoping that in the next couple of months things start to get slowly better because of coronavirus, and I can start naturalizing my body into the community again. It's going to be a slow process because one of the side effects of getting a stem cell transplant is you have no vaccinations anymore. So because of coronavirus, I haven't even been able to go into the hospital to get vaccinations. I'm 7 months old. I should have had 3-4 vaccinations by now, some of the most important and crucial vaccinations, so I could repopularize myself to protect myself, and I can't. So coronavirus has really made this experience different and special, I suppose. I'm trying to look at the positives because there definitely are positives. One of the positives it strengthened my relationship to be able to depend on my partner not only emotionally but financially. It allowed me to take a lot of personal time to heal. When I was supposed to go back to work in the end of April, I don't know if I would have been 100% ready then, but that was how much time I had off of work. Because of coronavirus, I was allotted more medical leave. So those are some of the pros. Let's see, what else? What else is there? Anxiety. Yeah, this was huge. I had a lot of anxiety when I was getting treatment. In the hospital, I had a lot of anxiety because it felt like at any moment something was going to go wrong. They were always talking about what can go wrong, what will go wrong, everything, and it was hard. It was hard to separate your mind from your surroundings during that time, and it was hard afterwards. It was hard to know if I was going to be put back into hospital. It was hard to know what was next, and luckily for me, what was next was just a good, slow recovery. I had no issues. Because of my experience being so good, I think it has allowed me to have a little bit less anxiety about the side effects of the side effects of the stem cell transplant in general. A few side effects still linger. I feel like I still have some digestive issues. I never really regulated my digestive system afterwards. Going to the bathroom, that is, it's still kind of weird. Sometimes I still have a weird film in my mouth. I think that my entire system is just so dry. Tomorrow I go in for my last scans, and these scans will tell me if I am still cancer-free, if the transplant worked really well, all of that information. I'm really excited about the scan. Obviously that brings anxiety, but I know that it'll be okay. I'm just telling myself that I would know if things were bad, which is probably untrue because I didn't know things were bad in the beginning either, but that's where I'm going to leave it. I can do another update about where I'm at in another couple of months. I think it's just slow healing. A lot of my issues still just lie mental and emotionally, accepting that I lost 2 years of my life to battling cancer. I didn't lose it, but you know, you can't really do anything. So it definitely felt like a loss to me. So have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you later. Stay safe.